Bonjour et bienvenue à la troisième session. This afternoon, we will discuss the long question. Madame Griffiths will present and I will answer any question in the Q&A. Madame Griffiths?
Okay, bonjour. So welcome to today's third session where we're going to be looking at the long question in the reading comprehension paper, part of the paper. Okay, so the session is on comprendre les questions et trouver les réponses. The aims of the session are to revise question words, and then we will look at how to answer the long questions by understanding the questions in the assessed language. So remember that the assessed language is French, and then how to locate the answers. So, pour commencer, les mots de question. So, you are going to see some question words appear on your screen. What I'd like you to do, please, is to type the meaning in the chat, and Madame Lloyd will correct you. So the first one, okay, quand. Pourquoi. Qu'est-ce que. Quel. Qu'est-ce qui. Comment. Qui. À quelle heure. Où. So you should have had a chance to write the meaning for the questions in the chat. Maintenant, le sens. So this time you'll see the same question words with the meaning in English. Now, the question words are very, very important, and it is very important that you actually make sure you know every single one of these on the screen in front of you, because these are the words which will help you to locate the correct answer in the text, because you need to work out, first of all, the meaning of the question and the type of information required for each question. So, les mots de question. OK. Maintenant, une petite activité. Regardez les questions. Quel est le bon mot de question? So, you will see 8 short questions appear on the slide in front of you. I'd like you to read the question and to type the French question into the chat box, please, and Madame Lloyd will look at your answers. So, numéro 1. Blanc, la fille est-elle triste? So this is what you should have chosen. Pourquoi? Numéro 2. Blanc, c'est passé en France hier. Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé? So, qu'est-ce qui s'est passé means what happened. And this is often used in the questions, in the long question. It's normally question 6 on the language paper. Numéro 3. Blanc était le rôle de la personne pendant la guerre. Quel. And you should have chosen the masculine singular because it's referring to le rôle. 4. Blanc s'étend que le projet a été un succès. And you should have chosen comment. And again, this is a very common question. So how do you know? Comment sait-on? How do you know? Numéro 5, très très facile, a very easy one. Quelle heure est-il? And you should have chosen the quelle feminine because heure is feminine and singular. Numéro 6, est arrivé au clandestin en Belgique. Qu'est-ce qui est arrivé? So qu'est-ce qui est arrivé is another way of saying qu'est-ce qui s'est passé, what happened. 7. Les gens ont réussi à faire hier. Qu'est-ce que? Et la dernière question, avait-il découvert la vérité? Quand or comment? So when or how? So just to recap, question words are very, very important. Without understanding the question words, you won't be able to locate the answer. Now then, during the first session, we looked at le succès en 10 étapes. Okay, success in 10 steps. So here again, 10 steps for helping you read and work out how to do the reading comprehension questions, in particular the long question. So read the instructions carefully. So before you start to even look at the questions, read the instructions carefully. Do you understand what you have to do? Then read the text through for just understanding and to ensure you understand the theme. Understanding the theme will help you to think of the type of vocabulary you're going to see in the actual text. Now look at the questions. Look at the total number of marks for the question. Number 6 question, the long question, is usually worth 20 marks. Then look at the number of marks for each individual question. Sometimes more than one answer is required, and the question will say. Ensure that you understand each question. What type of answer is needed? Is it a reason? Is it a year? Is it a date? Read the text again, but thoroughly this time. It's worth spending a few moments reading through the text before you start to answer your questions. Work out where your answer is located in the text and write the question letter alongside. Don't start to answer your first questions until you've worked out where in the text you're going to find your answers. Then, read the text again to ensure you've located the answer for each question. And remember that inference will be needed for some answers, so you'll need to have to think about your answers and infer. Number 9, remember you have to answer the questions in French. And number 10, once you've completed your answers, remember to check your French in every answer. Make sure you have your accents going the correct way. Have you used the correct tense, etc. So the 10 steps here on the slide will help you as you approach the long question in the language paper. Now, let us look at an actual question. So the source of the question that we're going to be looking at over the next few slides is the WJC SAMs. So these are the specimen assessment materials, and we're going to be looking at question 6. So the first thing we're going to be looking at is understanding the question. Okay, so here are the first instructions for the question. So what I'd like you to do is to read what you see in front of you and write in the chat box the theme and what you have to do, the theme of the question and what you have to do. So this is the theme, remember, and this will help you to remember the type of vocabulary to expect. So the theme here is daily life during the occupation, and it says that you need to answer the questions in French. This is another part of the instructions. Look at the instructions here. What can and what can't you do? Again, write your answers in the chat. What can and what can't you do? So you're able to use answers from the text in your answer. However, you should not copy complete sentences. And when you answer, you don't need to write in complete sentences. If possible, you can use one word. So this is the first thing that you should do when you look at the question, is to look at the instructions very carefully. Now we're going to look at the questions in more depth. So here are some of the questions for the text. Now we've already understand from looking at the instructions that the text is about daily life during the occupation, during the Second World War. So the first 4 questions here labelled A, B, C, D. What I'd like you to do for each one, we'll take them one at a time, okay, is to look at the questions on the right. What type of information do you need for each one? Now, do you need a name? Do you need a reason? Okay, what type of information? Do you need more than one answer? And then look at the tense. In which tense is the question? So we will start with A. So I'll give you 10 seconds to type in the chat. Okay, the type of information. So is it a reason? Is it a date? Is it specific information? Okay, do you need more than one answer? And in which tense? So we'll do the same now with question B. Now the same with question C. And now the same with question D. So you should have noted, so question A, okay, it's in the imperfect tense. So you need qu'est-ce qui préoccupait, so what was worrying. So you need to give the reasons, okay, and it says to donner 2 raisons, so give 2 reasons, 2 items of information. B, pourquoi, so why. So this one is in the present tense. And again, donner 2 raisons, give 2 reasons. C, pourquoi les magasins étaient-ils vides? So it's in the imperfect tense. And this time, again, why? So you're giving reasons, and you have to give 3. And then D, qui a souffert? So who? So it could be the name of a person, it could be the name of a political party, it could be the name of the type of people. And it says donner deux, so give 2 answers. So this is in the perfect tense or the passé composé. So moving on. E et F. Same thing. What type of information do you need? Do you need more than 1 answer? And in which tense is the question? So, E. Quel était? So, what was the cause? So, you explain again the cause, and we need 1 cause. F. Dans quel pays? So, in which countries? So, if you look at the mark scheme, you know it's going to be 2. And again, it's in the imperfect. So G, H, E, G. So again, we'll start a question. Okay, G. What type of information do you need? Do you need more than 1 answer? And in which tense is the question? So here, pourquoi, why, so you're giving reasons, and you need 2. And again, the imperfect. H. So again, what type of information do you need? Do I need more than 1 answer? And in which tense? So again, pourquoi, why. So we're giving reasons again, and we need 2. Okay, se détache-t-elle? So it's in the present tense. E. Again, what type of information? Do you need more than 1 answer? In which tense? So this time, qui, who. So it could be the name of a person, it could be the name of a group. 1 mark, a rejoint, okay, a rejoint. So it's in the passé composé. J. So again, what type of information? Do you need more than 1 answer, and in which tense? So, quelles étaient? So what were the activities? So you're naming types of activities this time. And it says donner 3 activités. So you need to give 3 activities. Now, by now, you should have a good understanding of the information you're going to be locating. Now, to make it easier for us during this presentation, I've split the text into slides. So we'll have a few questions and a part of text per slide, okay? You will see that at the top, this is taken from the, remember the assessment, okay, the SAMs, specimen assessment papers, you have the title, okay? This title was in the question. Have a picture. The picture will not give you any answers, okay? The answers are not located in the picture. So then we have the first part of the text and the first 2 questions. So what I'd like you to do now is to bear in mind the first 2 questions, okay, and have a quick read of the text. Now, if you were doing this for yourselves, you would have read the text at the start for just understanding, but we haven't got time to read that now thoroughly, so it's been split up for you, okay? So spend 30 seconds reading the text, and whilst you're doing that, try and think where your answers are located, and think about the 10 steps to success. So during that, I suggested that you put the letter, you quickly note the letter by the text to show you where the answer will be, and you do this for each question. So have a quick think, okay, and then I'm going to show you. So you'll find the question A is in the first 2 lines, and then question B is here. Okay, we will look at the answers if we have time. So moving on. Okay, le rationnement. So we have another part of the text. This time we have 3 questions. So again, spend 30 seconds reading through the text and trying to locate the answers. Remember that the answers will be in order. It's very, very important to bear in mind. And remember, sometimes you have to infer, so the answer, you might not see the answer straight away. So, question C at the top. Okay, pourquoi les magasins étaient-ils vides? And then we have the start of the answer here. Question D is in the middle. Qui a souffert? Question E towards the end of the paragraph. So moving on. Okay. La résistance. So spend 30 seconds reading the text again. And try and locate the answers. So this time, dans quel pays? Okay, so this time we have to use some inference. Okay, dans quel pays? Because it doesn't actually mention the countries. Okay. G, in the middle. H, where we see the date. And then moving on, this is still the same text. So spend 10 seconds rereading the text. And try and locate the answers to the questions. Remember that you'll put your letter next to the where you think the answer will be. And then we have E, because it mentions juin, and then we have juin. And then the last one, trois activités, towards the end. Now with the last one here, you could actually, it says donner trois activités, you could actually use the infinitive to give the activities. Okay, continue. So this time, okay, we have time to look at the answers. So what I'd like you to do is again, now you can see where the arrows are pointing. We've already followed certain steps now within our 10 steps to success, okay? We've looked at the questions, we've looked at the question words, we've looked at what type of information. We know that we have to have 2 reasons, and we've looked at where it's located. So what I'd like you to do is to spend 10 seconds rereading the question, looking at the text, and noting what you think are the answers in the chat. And Madam Lloyd will help you. So again, moving on to B. Question B, reread the question. Look at where we've noted where the answer is and try and find the answers. Again, write your answers in the chat. Remember, you're not able to copy complete sentences from the text. And these are the answers you should have found. Okay, so A, qu'est-ce qui préoccupait? Okay, and we have the answers here. Okay, les difficultés de la vie quotidienne, so difficulties of everyday life, et le souci du manque d'alimentation, so worry about the lack of food. So this is how you could have written your answers. So you could use, you don't need to write a complete sentence. You could use the infinitive, trouver assez à manger, surmonter les difficultés de la vie de tous les jours. So overcome the difficulties of everyday life. So this is rewriting the information you found in the text in your own words. And then the last one, pourquoi? So, parce que la vie était dure et les Français ont dû prendre des décisions difficiles. And the answers are here. Okay, la dureté, la vie était dure. And les choix gives you the answer here. So moving on. So le rationnement. So again, we'll take each question in turn. So look at where we've located C and try and think of the 3 reasons. Again, write your answers in the chat and Madam Lloyd will look at your answers for you. Even if you just managed to write one, that would be good. So these are the answers you should have written. Okay, these are taken from the mark scheme. And then they're linked here. L'interruption des échanges. Les échanges étaient interrompus. Okay. Difficulté de communication. Il était difficile de communiquer. So what we've done here, the actual nouns have been turned. This has been just turned into a sentence, and here it's been turned to communiquer. So we've turned communication from the noun using it was difficult plus the infinitive. And then the part here we've turned into a sentence, and then the last part we've turned the nouns into a verb. So D, qui a souffert, so qui. Donnez 2 raisons. Again, try and locate the answer and then write your answers in the chat. Give you 10 seconds. And these are the answers you should have found. Okay. Ceux qui habitaient la ville or les habitants des villes. And here we have les populations des villes. And then les plus pauvres. This has been changed to les personnes très pauvres. Okay. The poorest people or the very poor people. And then E. Try again to look at the question and look at your answer. Quelle était la cause? So what was the cause? Or the reason of the suffering? And then we have the answer here. So try and write your answer in the text. And this is what you should have had. You have a choice of answers. Okay. Le rationnement des produits de base ou de tous les jours ou la création du marché noir. So we have marché noir, les produits rationnés. So remember, Okay, once you've located your answer in the text, to try and rewrite what is written in the text, either in your own words or turning a noun into an infinitive, for example, or trying to create a sentence. Okay, on continue. Okay, so F, dans quel pays? So we have a little bit of inference here, okay, because the top here we have Londres, Alger, so we need to know which countries these are in. So again, try and write your answer in the chat. A few seconds. And you should have had en Algérie et en Angleterre, or they would have accepted, and to go back, accepted Grande-Bretagne or Royaume-Uni. And then next one, pourquoi, so why, 2 reasons, so it's in the second part here. Again, try and think of your answer, try and see if you can write one of them in the text box, in the chat box, sorry. And these are the answers you should have found. Okay, très peu de volontaires. So les résistants sont très peu nombreux. So not many. Très peu de résistants. Okay, so we've got the answer here. Très peu de résistants. I would in quelques volontaires, only a few volunteers. Sorry, I mixed those two around first of all. Okay, so you've got both answers there. And then H. Pourquoi l'opinion? So why? So you will see that a lot of the answers you're given here, they're analytical answers. You're being asked why. See if you can find, and then the answers here I've given you. Okay, il manque des choses à manger. L'Allemagne a attaqué l'Union soviétique. It's in the last part here. So if you have the recording for this session, you will be able to look at these in your own time. Okay. E, qui a rejoint, so who, en juin, so we're looking here. So again, try and write your answer very quickly. And then we should have les communistes, ou les membres du Parti communiste. Try G, les activités. So these are in the last part. So remember, you could put in an infinitive here. So try and look for one of them to see what you could write. And then we look at the answers. So these are the answers here. So, for example, okay, réseau d'évasion, escape network. So we've had créer or établir, so to create or to establish. So we've used the infinitive, okay. Presse clandestine, okay, presse here, okay. And we've got organiser. I'm not going to go through each one, but you will be able to see the idea of using the infinitive where it's linked to the noun. Okay, we're coming towards the end of our session. Okay, so I would like to say merci. But before I pass you back to Madam Lloyd, I'd just like to remind you, okay, that the main thing you need to remember is you make sure you revise your question words thoroughly. Very, very important. And use the 10 steps which were given to you at the start of the session. And remember to work through the steps as you look at the long question. So you need to make sure that you understand the questions, the type of information. You will find that the majority of questions are asking for reasons. Okay, so it's an analytical, and you will need to use some inference as well. Okay, merci. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to write them in the chat and we'll deal with them from there. Merci.
Merci beaucoup. Je pense pas qu'il y ait de questions. There are no questions yet. Thanks, Madame Griffiths. Next week we'll do the IRP. So how you look for documents about your IRP and the WGEC documentation too. I don't see any more questions, so I suppose we'll finish there.
Okay.
So,
Merci.
merci. See you next week. Au revoir.